Friends, welcome to video 5 in the series of success mantras for professional examinations. Here I am going to talk about certain very important dimensions of success process. What I mean thereby is, for us to be able to get success, there are certain prerequisites. So what are those prerequisites? I am going to talk about all those dimensions in this video. First prerequisite for any success is commitment and faith. We should give wholehearted commitment to the effort that we are going to put in. It should not be half-hearted. It should not be like, if yes, I'm able to do it, that's good. Otherwise, let it be. I'll again take the attempt next time. If that is the approach, it is not going to get you a full commitment. The commitment should be total. That this is the attempt, this is the examination in which I'm going to be very successful. I'm going to crack it well in time as per my calendar. So that should be the commitment. Now, the other thing which is also required is faith in one's ability. God has actually given us enormous ability, but quite often it remains latent for a variety of reasons. Some of the reasons are the negativity that is fed by others into us. Sometimes there is negativity that we feed into ourselves. Sometimes it is the food that can impact our agility and our ability to concentrate. And I'm going to deal with the food and related aspects in a later video. But for now, we should definitely have a complete faith in our own ability to succeed. So don't bring the baggage of previous failures. As I shared in my very first video, I did have a couple of failures in academic domain. I even had a tremendous failure when I started investing. The first time I failed, but then I have learned from those mistakes and recovered all my losses. Similarly, here we should have that faith in our ability that even if failure has come our way, doesn't matter, we are going to succeed this time. Friends, the second mantra is about planning. Now, planning is extremely important in execution. You can ask anyone who works in the corporate world whenever any project is taken up. One of the first things that is always emphasized and detailed is planning. So once you have planning, once you have your roadmap, execution becomes very easy and straightforward. Otherwise, it is like groping in the dark. So you should not jump into the study without planning. Now, planning must be written down so that we could monitor it. Planning in our own mind, planning in our own head is not helpful. We need to have a separate notebook in which we can record the plan for each subject, and actually we can keep on recording how we have completed whatever we have planned. So it must be written down. Now, of course, you can devise your own way which is most convenient to you to do that planning, but that is something which is absolutely essential. What are the dimensions of planning? So what are the important dimensions? We should know what is the overall time in hand. So for example, if you're going to take the professional examination a year later, you have a good idea about the number of weekends and number of weekdays which are available to you, because the time available on the weekends could be more than the time available on the weekdays, depending on whether you are working or you have taken full time off for the purpose of the exam. So this is something that needs to be taken into account. Also, for those people who are working, don't forget to count your travel time in that. Your travel time is not a waste. Your travel time can be utilized for the purpose of recall. And I'm going to devote a separate video for this recalling technique. That is going to come up a little later. And then you can derive how much is the time that you can overall devote to each subject. Once you have a good idea about the overall time available to you, so you also know how much time you can devote for your other activities. Also, as a part of the planning, we must always devote some time for the purpose of practice in case of those topics which involve solving problems, or in case of those topics which have theory or law or tax, we need to devote certain time for solving or writing down answers. That's also a very important part of planning. So how much time are you going to devote for different activities? That also needs to be detailed. I would also say that the most important success factor is your method, and I'm going to create separate videos in respect of methods pertaining to different types of topics, but ensure that you have adopted the right method. Otherwise, what happens is people spend a lot of time they are putting a lot of effort in study, but the outcome is not sufficient. The outcome is not as much as we desire, and the reason is about method. So I'm going to deal with that through separate videos. Also, sometimes people work for long hours, 14 hours, 15 hours a day, and I commend, their ability to do so. But I always go by this principle in economics, titled marginal utility. What do I mean by marginal utility? If I were to put in extra hours, hour after hour, the ability to produce best results out of those extra hours actually diminishes with increase in time. So instead of just putting long hours which are not productive, it is much better to pace out your study, take breaks in between in such a way that you are fresh every time you take up study. The other thing which I would also say is that what you need is intelligent work, not hard work. So what do I mean by that? Intelligent work is that work which is most productive. Hard work is like labor, which may not give you the best results, but it is the intelligent work. And I'm going to also talk about dimensions of intelligent work in my later videos. But I hope you are getting the difference between sheer hard work and intelligent work. Intelligent work ensures that every minute that you put in is productive. Hard work is just about putting effort, but just putting effort without commensurate outcome is of no use, friends. Lastly, I would also say that the right attitude of humility is absolutely a must. Sometimes I come across students who are arrogant or overconfident. Now, that's not going to give you success. Humility is a prerequisite for learning. Sometimes we come across young students, of course, not for professional exams, but college going students who talk ill about the people who teach them. Now, that's not great. That's actually arrogance. So, we need to be humble if you want to learn. And moment we become humble, we also reduce the risk of becoming overconfident. So friends, before I conclude, I would say that you are born to win, but only ensure that your methods are right and your success factors are in place. And I'm going to talk about methods in videos which are going to come up. So that you are notified about them, do press the subscribe button.